What's up, Samurai? We are back with more Trove. You'll have to pardon me. I know that my videos have been all over the place, and I kind of addressed it in the most recent Trove stream, but I'm sick, okay? I've just been really under the weather and kind of just taking things easy and blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of why the videos have been a little lackluster lately and why my energy today might be a bit on the low side. Now, all of this is subject to change, as with my other video talking about the Cosmic Dragon, but somebody ended up letting me know today that they actually changed the Cosmic Dragon's function completely, and we no longer have the slow fall effect with the dragon. We don't have it when we're off the dragon, we don't have it when we're on the dragon, but instead we get a super jump, and it's all right. Like, I think that the slow fall would have actually had a much bigger impact on the game. Whereas right now, the Cosmic Dragon technically does have a better functionality than Volatile Bounder and Ganda, incidentally. But unfortunately, it does also, like, it's still one of the most difficult mounts to get in the entire game. So I don't think it's going to end up making that much of a difference either way. So let's get into it. First and foremost, there's just going to be, like, let me wait for this to wear off. It doesn't show a buff icon in the top left or anything, does it? Oh yeah, it does. Okay. So we're going to wait for this to wear off just so I can kind of go through this with you guys. So this is our basic jumping, right? And with Ganda, you know, obviously we get the infinite jumping because of the gold blocks that end up getting created. So that's why Ganda up to this point was one of the best mounts in the game, because you would be able to just keep jumping, and then you would run a jump, and then you would land on a gold block and reset your jump. And then you would just start spam jumping like a freak again, okay? Now, what ended up kind of replacing that altogether was Volatile Bounder, because what Volatile Bounder does is it's on a slight cooldown, but if you left click when you use it, it launches you up into the air. And the launch that it does is the equivalent of 10-player jumps. So that ends up adding up quite quickly, because you can do this and in less time you are now at a much higher altitude than it would take to spam jump on Ganda, right? And on top of that, if you're in the air and you have enough jump to stay in the air, you could do another jump and another jump and so on and so forth, right? Like, you only have to expend a couple extra jumps before the cooldown is gone so that you can end up jumping again. But I wanted to end up doing a little bit of a height test with you guys. So we'll see right here. Maybe, you know what? Let me go into the club world and set this up. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna put down a bunch of random blocks here. Zone restrict nobody so that we don't blow anything up. And okay, so we need to actually set that to go much higher. Actually, what I want to do is I want to set up like how high we jump with Bounder, and then kind of do a comparison between the different items to see, like, okay, well, which one's going to get us like higher. So this is about the height limit of Volatile Bounder. Maybe we would be able to go like one block more than that, but if I'm holding up, you can see it's actually not allowing me to move forward. Like, we're clearly going high enough. Weird. Very weird. Very janky. Okay, so that's actually a little bit lower then. I mean, the height itself, I don't think is going to matter too much, whether or not we get this like 100% accurate. But yeah, so you can see we basically have like 1/1000, and then we're already up at the top, right? And then of course, if we ended up using Ganda, it would be the equivalent of doing this, which obviously I can mash like super fast, but on average when you're doing dungeons, it's just gonna be at like this speed. So you can see that that's already gonna take like about 2 seconds or something like that. And then more importantly, why we're even talking about this in today's video is that this dragon is going to end up giving us this jump, which seems like it's actually half of the height. No, it's actually not. So it's about, that's probably like 40% the height that you get from Volatile Bounder, but obviously you can just do 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's not as good as Volatile Bounder. Like, it is and it isn't, because you do get a little bit of a slow fall effect for a brief moment, so it does give you a lot more control with doing like dungeon speed and stuff like that. However, my argument would be that on most classes in the game, you need to be able to just pop it out quickly. So the fact that we have the buff after the dragon goes away is not bad, but basically what I would do is I would get on the mount, do a shift movement, and then we would just like get on the mount and get off as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, you can't really get on and off a mount because there's a slight cooldown to that now. So even if I'm mashing the button, like that's the quickest that I can get on and off. So personally, I'd still say that Volatile Bounder is better. The side effects that this gives you is you get 5 extra jump as well as a higher jump, which is still nice, don't get me wrong. And if I mash it, yeah, that's still not going to end up being as fast. So we would like mashing it kind of doesn't serve much of a purpose because the difference is that what we're trying to do with this mount in particular and all mounts is that you're going to end up running out of your jump stats sooner or later. So that's why we go 1, 2, 3 to take full advantage of the dragon, versus just spam jumping is resetting the height limit. So it doesn't really matter. This might actually be a much better test, come to think of it, because let's just see how quickly can we end up getting up this. I didn't actually like necessarily start a timer, but I think that this is going to end up being pretty self-contained or explained. I mean, still got to get up here pretty dang quick, come to think of it. Like that's still really nice. I don't know whether or not I prefer the slow fall effect in the first place, but yeah, that's you know, that's pretty crazy when you think about it. Let me close this biome off. But now let's see as a comparison for something this high, like on average, you're never going to have to do something like this, but it might actually be faster to use the dragon for this in particular, like to get the verticality going, because otherwise I have to expend 3 jumps in the first place. And then I can end up doing the explosion. And even then, you know, it's not going to end up being like 100% ideal. So yeah, I think, I mean, I have to check in my editing software, but I think we got up here faster with the dragon. So when it's like, I guess the point being is that when you're going to something super duper high, it's going to end up being more worthwhile just because of the lengthy cooldown with Bounder. But Bounder, I feel, is a lot more, it's a lot more generalized, going to end up being better versus the dragon, which is a lot more situational, because most dungeons that you're going to end up dealing with would only be like around this height anyways, and then you would drop into it or whatever, right? And the big thing too is that with the Bounder, personally, I prefer it because we can just be running around and then pop it out, do it, and then we're good to go, you know, versus the dragon where we can't actually just hop off of it like as quickly, or well, we can hop off of it as quickly. But the point is that with the Bounder, we get to hop on it, use the ability, and then by the time we get to our maximum height, we can hop off anyways, because mount movement speed is going to be slower than player movement speed. Versus if we're trying to use this dragon, we would just hop on it, get to do a couple jumps, and then hop off of it. I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess it's still technically probably better. I just don't know. I'm just not used to using it. And I don't know how I feel about the jump effect versus the slow fall. Like, I wasn't obviously I wasn't going to end up utilizing the slow fall effect, frankly speaking, but I don't know if I would end up utilizing this super high jump either. I mean, I guess it's still really good for the verticality of it. Like, it definitely seems a lot better than I gave credit to it. But yeah, what do you guys think about it? Obviously, you know, this update is kind of in a very strange place right now, especially just because it's another update that nobody really asked for. Like, the Cosmic Dragon is definitely better than it is on the live server right now, but I don't think it's game changing. But that's okay, because the other Primordial Dragons kind of suck anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. And at least this has a functionality. Like, I could see people using this, and myself included, just because it does fit with my you know, my style with my Shadow Hunter and stuff. I still wish that we would be able to just swap mount skins the same as we do with costumes and stuff, while retaining the effect of another mount, because frankly speaking, I'm sick of using Volatile Bounder. Like, it's definitely an ugly mount, you know, and I would much rather be able to use like Yabaki or even Ganda or something. So being able to use the Cosmic dragon just for the sheer jump height of it all, you know, is kind of appealing. Like, I think it's pretty cool. I think I gotta get used to it, but yeah, it definitely makes exploring like a lot easier in terms of verticality. It's not as immediate, and that's kind of why I think I underestimated it. But when we compare like just how easily I can get around with the jump height and the fact that the buff lasts for a little bit off of the mount, that's actually really, really nice. Like, it's very smooth. I don't know if it's going to work very well in live servers just because of how laggy it is, but sound off in the comments if you guys have an opinion on it. Again, this could end up changing. Who knows, you know, with the test server. There hasn't really been anything else other than the dragon, but yeah, I'm glad somebody brought this to my attention. I'm sorry I don't remember your username on YouTube, otherwise I would shout you out. I think it was Jolton or something, but either way, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel, and have a wonderful day.